Hi, I'm Laura from the Solutions Consultant team here at GoTo, and I'd like to give you a quick overview today of GoTo Resolve. It all starts here in our desktop console or on a web tab if you prefer to join in from any computer as long as you have a browser tab. What we first see are a list of the devices we can install. We can set up on Windows, Macs, and Androids. We get a nice dashboard overview of machines that tells us a bit about what's happening. So if someone calls into our support desk, we can quickly look at their CPU usage, memory, network, and other details to figure out what we need to do next. Maybe the end user doesn't want to be interrupted in a remote control session with screen sharing right now. So perhaps what I want to do is launch a terminal service. Now we've added in an extra layer of security here for a signature key that's going to allow me to put in a unique key that only I know. So if someone got to my list of devices, they couldn't get to the machine without that. And now, without impacting the end user who's asking for help, I'll be able to run some basic commands here. So let's run a trace route and see what's happening with traffic to a popular website. And we'll come back and check on that because we're now able to move around as that does its work. When we're back at that end user's machine, I might want to send a file over. We have the ability to launch File Manager and quickly send a file. It could be multiple files or a folder, but it's going to allow me to perform this work without impacting the end user. It's all done behind the scenes. Now, of course, when we come on to their machine, we would always have the ability to get into remote control, and that's going to allow us to click through on the desktop. Because the nodes are pre-installed, we can have it remember my admin credentials. So when I connect in, I'm not going to connect at the end user's privileges, but rather admin. So if no one's there, we can just hit connect now. If they were at the machine, they'd have a prompt allowing them to accept or deny the connection. But just like that, we're going to be able to get on and see what the problem is on this machine. So I can hit let's start for them. They have the option to pause the screen at any time if they're there. Here's where we sit as a system, restoring those auto logins. And now we can utilize the basic commands of issuing an Alt Control Delete perhaps to get Task Manager on the screen, or perhaps I want to go ahead and reboot the computer. I can even flip my screen so I could show them something from my agent desktop. We can work with multiple monitors, and then we'll always have the information as to what this machine is comprised of over here on the right-hand side. If that's in the way and we want to see this more full screen, we can do that as well. So I can have multiple sessions running at once. I also can come back in and check some of these other jobs that I'm running. Maybe look at the statistics here. Now, information from the command prompt and I no longer need it. But I'll leave the session running in case I need to come back to it. The other option that we have with devices is remote execution. So we will be able to execute jobs and tasks to allow us to perform basic functions on those machines without getting into screen sharing. So here I'd be able to come in and create either a Mac or Windows step. And by steps, we mean basic PowerShell commands here that we can push out. So perhaps I want to distribute a file. Perhaps after it's distributed, I want to restart a computer. We're building out this activity. Now it lets you know when something's wrong. I didn't include the file here, so we need to. It's building out a script. Once I've configured this exactly the way I like, I can then select a computer or multiple computers or a group of computers to push this update out to. Now I can review and run and save the job so I can refer back to that later. Other than installed devices, we can certainly run ad hoc support. Those of you who are used to GoTo Assist might recognize some of this, where we can start a support session or just get onto a camera share where we see a camera only. In the support session, we can generate a PIN code that people will use to connect in. They don't need anything pre-installed or configured. But if they're on a Windows machine and you're concerned about usage with the UAC that's out there, we can help. We're going to allow us to connect in at the admin mode when we're requesting remote control and therefore be able to work with all prompts that come up on a computer. Since we've just looked at a remote screen sharing session, let's go ahead and end this one and take a look at a different method that we can use. So back in support, you might have noticed we had camera share. This is going to allow me as an IT person, perhaps supporting someone's laptop that they can't log into and therefore I can't reach it in remote control, get to a view of their machine very quickly. So here I'm going to be able to put in a quick phone number and I send this phone an SMS text. Now, the person receiving this doesn't need to have anything installed and they don't need to download anything. This is just a quick link that they're going to receive in their inbox that's going to allow them to share their camera. So once they share their camera, we're going to be able to have a visual representation of either cables or wires or what. Immediately, we can see how my cables are configured. If my question was related to this external drive, we can see that it's not plugged in. And perhaps to illustrate that to the end user, I want to go ahead and give them some steps. Pick this up, plug it into the USB cord, make sure that you check that your power is on properly, and they will see all of this on their camera, on their phone, so that they can know what to do. Once I've done my annotation, I can clear that and get back into live screen sharing where we're able to see any other wires or perhaps what's on the screen to troubleshoot further. The next module in GoTo Resolve is Help Desk. This is a place where you can see tickets. We can see open, in progress, closed, on hold tickets, and really have an idea of what's taking place with all of the support sessions. We'll be able to look at the priority, see the date created, and these tickets can come in to us from a variety of different email aliases that you might set up for your different help desk services. We could look at more than one at once if we support more than one group. The entire team will have access to the issue that's come in and be able to update, add in any comments, public or private, for the end user to see. We have integrations with tools like Microsoft Teams or Slack, where you'd add in GoTo Resolve and be able to update the tickets, look at the status of your tickets if you are a person submitting them, or if you're an agent, see the entire group's tickets as well. If we want to allow someone to submit in a tool that they're very used to using, something like Teams or Slack, where you're doing instant messaging day to day, we simply create a ticket and it'll populate in GoTo Resolve. The last module in GoTo Resolve is reporting, a place where we can see the activity for the past 30 days. We can see it by agent. We also can drill in and get the recordings. So if there's ever an audit trail needed of work that was done on the machine, you're simply able to come over and play it back, even download the MP4 if you'd like, and it's a nice way to have that record and history on hand. We hope you've enjoyed this overview of GoTo Resolve. As you can see, it's a simple one area access for IT professionals to streamline and get their job done quickly and efficiently. Thank you.